What's up, everybody? It's your boy Rufus Johnson here for another video. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a product review on something that I've started to use a lot, or something that's just going to be used in my studio a lot, and that's this mic right here. This is the Rode NT USB Mini. That's a lot to say. Rode NT USB Mini, and I like it. I bought it for some purposes, for some projects that I was going to be doing here, and I actually bought 4 of them because I researched that you could use multiple, up to 4 of these into a single computer, USB, to do podcasts or something like that. It's really made for podcasters and people who are doing online streaming and online stuff like that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the good. I'm going to tell you about the not so good, some of the things that are little quirks. I'm going to tell you some other ways as a singer or songwriter or someone who does what I do, how you could use this and how it can be beneficial to you. So let's get right into it. So this is a USB microphone, pretty typical. It sounds pretty good. It's really small. I like the fact that it's a small form factor. It's not really big. I'm going from the Blue Yeti. So the Blue Yeti, if you know anything about that, is very large. I have it way back there. I don't want to go get it, but it's a very large microphone, and it didn't have any software that was very intuitive. It had software that was kind of basic. You could turn up the gain and stuff like that, muted and that kind of thing, but it didn't really have any other software tricks up its sleeve. And what I was looking for was something that was a little bit deeper, maybe gave me some integration between some of the other programs and audio programs that I have on my computer, where I can stream those and pull those in, as well as be able to share out to streaming services like your Zooms and your Google Meets and stuff like that for my job and for work. I want to be able to like share music or have other sounds that I want to be able to do, and it goes directly and walks and goes hand in hand with the microphone. And this checks off a lot of those boxes for me. So let's get into it. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the software that comes along with it, which is called the Rode Connect app. So let's go into that. The mic itself is pretty straightforward. It has a volume button on the front. On the back, it has a USB-C port, and it has a headphone, a 3.5-inch headphone jack. Right now I'm recording directly to the app, which is amazing. That's a great thing that you're able to do, and it really makes things a lot easier. It has some things with the mic that kind of help you tailor your sound to what you want, and it also has some ways that you can pull in your system audio as well as virtual audio from your other services. So let's jump into this a little bit. So let's start with the mic. First, there's a setup menu before you get to this menu that allows you to, like I said, plug up to 4 of these mics. And this software only works with the NT USB Mini, but it does not work with other kinds and other brands of microphones. So let's be clear about that. This does not talk well with other things, but it does work with these mics. So the one thing with these mics, in order for you to use multiple mics, you cannot use a hub. That was a bummer for me. That was a little bit of a con for me. I thought that I would be able to hook up a hub and run all of the mics into one USB port on my computer. I'm using a MacBook Air. So anyone who has a MacBook Air that has only 2 ports on the left side of the computer, it has 2 USB-C ports. So I thought I was gonna be able to use those 2 ports and be able to run all 4 mics. That is not true. Anything over 1 mic into 1 port, it acts wonky. It won't work. It'll recognize the microphone, but they won't actually be able to transfer audio, so you won't hear anything, and won't happen. That was a little bit of a bummer, I figured out. So at most on my MacBook Air, I can use 2 mics at once. On a MacBook Pro, however, there are 4 ports. There are 2 additional ports on the right side. So if you have that, you can run all 4 mics into the software, and it should work seamlessly. So let's just get that out the way. But that was a little bit of a con, because I wanted to use all 4 mics into my MacBook Air, but I wasn't able to do that. So I have to find a workaround for that. All right, so at the mic level, so on the microphone is really cool. Right now I have a couple of effects going on, but on each channel you have a solo button, and you also have a mute button. So that's for each one of these tracks. So for the microphone, you've got your gain level here. You've got your gain. You can go up and down on your gain. The idea is that you're supposed to kind of keep your gain level in this region right here, in this little box here. That's for, I guess, for optimal. That's what they say is optimal gain. So you have that. And then when you come down here, here's your suite of effects. Here's the noise gate. So I in my headphones, I can hear my wife talking a little bit. So I'm going to turn on, I have a space heater right beside me. I'm going to turn it on really quickly and then let you guys hear that. Okay. I can hear it. I don't know if it'll come over into the recording, but that's that. Now listen for the noise gate. That's the noise gate on. That's the noise gate off. So I think it lets that sound come through. So that's the whole point of a noise gate. It kind of lowers your noise floor so you can kind of get some of those background sounds out, and the gate opens when you begin to speak. So that's how that works. So I'm gonna turn this heater off. So I like the noise gate. That's definitely one of the ones I want to kind of use, just period anyway. The one thing about the noise gate, when you lower your volume of your gain to 19, listen to what happens. That. So once you do that, something happens wonky with the noise gate as well. Once you go to 19 and below, or once you go from 20 to 19, you're going to hear that click, and anything below 19, the noise gate kind of becomes a little too aggressive. Like it kind of cuts into what you're doing. It's not enough passing through the noise gate. It's a little too aggressive. So I think I just heard it just now happen. So I like to keep my level at about 20, 21, something like that. And then I like to turn down, you can turn the gain down a little bit here to kind of keep you in the safe range, just in a safe region. Okay, then you can turn it up in post. So that's the noise gate. Next is the compressor. Now the job of a compressor is to kind of bring everything up and kind of even out all of what you're doing. It kind of puts a cap on your loud stuff so that you're not too loud when you don't need to be, and then it brings up the lower stuff and kind of brings it and keeps it in a range. So here's the compressor on. That's off. So if you notice, the background noise kind of comes up a little bit, but what it does, it kind of evens out my voice. And if I get too loud, you can hear it kind of putting a cap on my voice. I don't necessarily like the compressor. I would like to have some kind of slider or some kind of control over the compressor, because if it's too aggressive, I don't like the way it sounds. So I typically keep that off. And let's move on to the next one. The exciter. Exciter is supposed to kind of give you more of that high end shimmer, so it kind of excites the top end of the sound. So that's what that sounds like. We have this on right now. What I notice about it is that the sibilants, those S sounds are a little more pronounced, but it makes your voice sound a lot clearer and cleaner. So it's something I like. So that's off again. That's just kind of more flat. And then the exciter is on, and that brings that out. So I like the exciter personally. I would use it in addition to the noise gate. So I would use both of those, and this would be the sound I would like. Well, let's keep going. All right, last is big bottom. So of course, big bottom is going to give you that big bottom sound like a radio announcer or something like that. So it's going to kind of give you that sound in the software, kind of boost your bottom a little bit, so you have a little more of that bottom end. It's a mixed bag with me. I could maybe use it, but I don't know if I need to use it like that. It sounds pretty good on me. I like it a little bit, but if I'm not trying to sound like that, I probably wouldn't do that. So like I said, my default, what I like to use is the noise gate, and I like to use the exciter. Now the microphone is right here on my mouth, which is how I would use it. Put it on a boom arm. Another con of this mic is the bass. I don't like the bass. Here's the bass, if you can see that. That's what it looks like. It's very, very short. So when you put this bass on your table and you put the mic on your bass, I mean, the mic is pretty far away from you. You feel like you have to lean down to use it. That's not really ideal. I wanted something that sounds a little more direct. So I like having it right here in front of me. So if I back up a little bit, this is kind of what it would sound like. This is like the equivalent of me having the bass on the table. Like you'd be kind of like this far away. So it sounds okay, but I feel like you kind of hear more of the room around you. Not the best sound. I would rather have something a little more direct, just high quality sound, real clear, crystal clear. That's what I'm looking for like Zoom calls and stuff like that. All right, so these are my effects. If I want to get out of that, I click there. Here's my slider for my volume. Like I said, if you want to turn it down to kind of get yourself into that safe range so that you're ensuring that you're not going to peak, that's what you want to do. All right, let's move on to the system volume. Now with the system, okay, it has its own like level here as well to turn up the system gain, and then you can also control your system. So system would be like YouTube. If I'm playing iTunes or something, like I'm playing music or I'm playing a video when I'm doing a tutorial on a reaction video, something like that makes this a lot easier to just record this straight into your stream and you go right from there, and that makes it work out very, very well. So That's your system volume. Anything that's on your computer, that's playing on your computer, will come through the system. All right, so that's pretty self-explanatory. You got a solo and mute there. All right, next is the virtual. So Zoom calls, Google Meet, Google Duo. All of those are services that I use either for personal or for my job. And it's very good to be able to have that be able to come through, and I can have that at a volume level that I want it at, and then be able to record it into the software and be able to have that on a certain volume level that I'm comfortable with. So same idea. It has a level for the gain. It's almost like these two do the same thing, but I guess one is supposed to be like a gain level, and then the other is supposed to be a level that is on your fader, but they kind of do the same thing, but they don't move together. They're separate, but they're kind of the same. It's weird. All right, last but not least, so if I had 4 mics hooked up here, those 4 mics will take up this space and we'll push these 2 over here. So I only have 1 mic, so you know, a lot of this is just free space. So I can shrink this window down if I want to and make this a little bit smaller, so it's not, you know, it's just not all this empty space. So let me move that to the middle. All right, last but not least, I like this part. This is the sounds. I think this was part of an update to the software. This was not in the original version, but I'm so glad they added it. So this adds different, it has some automatic sounds that are in here that you can add. Intro music, I wouldn't use that. Laughter. And you can also mix this in as well. You can turn that up or down. Rim shots. Okay, applause. Sad trombone. Scary. Crickets. Harp. Okay. All right, so those are like some 8 preset sounds. You can change those out, but they also give you an additional 7 additional pages where you can import things from your computer, other sounds, sound effects, songs, all kind of stuff. So this is one way where I would use this as a singer-songwriter. Or as a performer, if I'm performing on a Zoom call or something like that. This makes it a lot easier. I don't have to have different screens. I can pull in my performance track right into the software, and I can talk and have my mic set up and also control my balance between my vocal that's going out and the music that's going out. Ingenious. That's great. I've been looking for something like this for a very, very long time without having to use something like OBS or another third-party software. So I can do all of that from the Rode Connect app. As a performer, that's really, really great. So I imported this. So this is just a track from Splice, or a loop from Splice that I was able to pull in. And you could just, that could be my background music. If I was singing over it, I can get my mix the way I want it, get my mic where I want to feel, and get my music where I want to feel, and I can sing over it. Or I can talk over it. If I'm doing a podcast, I can turn this down and I can just talk over my music and just let that be, you know, the vibe, you know what I'm saying? So I like that. That's really, really great. All right, so then in addition to that, what you have that will kind of give you, if you right click on that, there's some more functions here. You can change the color of these. You can make them whatever color you want. And that's great if you have like a set list of songs you want to kind of go through. You want to have different color songs. You can change the name. So give it like a shorter name. You can easily see what song I'm singing or whatever. All right. Then you can toggle whether you have to hold it down for it to play, or if you just want it, or one shot if you just want it to play. So I just want it to play if it's a song. I want to hit it one time and then it rolls. You can also turn on a loop. So this is neat because if you're looping it, like for example, if I'm talking over this, I don't want it to stop. I want it to keep going. So it's just going to loop itself over and over. So I'm going to tell you another way that I would use that in a second. All right, so I can loop it on or off, or if I'm performing a song one time, I want it to cut off. I don't want it to keep going. So once the song goes off, I'm done. So if I was performing this, I would loop it off. If I was talking over it, I will loop it on. Now, here's another way that I would use this. If I was trying to, like in Splice, I told you a second ago, I use Splice. I use Splice to help me with loops and things that are going to start songs. But in Splice right now, they don't have a loop feature where you can repeat a loop over and over if you want to just ride to it in the Splice, in the software. If you just want to ride to it and you're writing to it and vibing to it, you have to pull it into a DAW in order to be able to repeat it over and over, but not anymore. So I, as a songwriter, I would use this. If I found a loop that I wanted, I would just loop it on, and then I could just play it, and I could also record my vibe session when I'm writing. Just keep it rolling and keep it recording, and I could just do that and just hum to it, write words, write lyrics, and then just use that as sort of like a voice note, a high quality voice note with the track playing and my vocal in high quality, and I can export that out and email it to myself or put it in my Google Drive and just save it and just ride to it later. So that's what I would use it for. Nobody has said anything about that, but as a singer-songwriter, I would do it like that. All right. You've also got some fun little stuff here. Like they have a little beep tone, like if you something like that, if you're cursing or something, you know, I don't know, you can have a little beep or whatever. Like that's kind of cool. If you click right here, I can't do it while I'm recording, but that's where all your list of recordings would be. You can delete them, you can listen back to them, you can export them out, you can export them straight to Spotify, because remember, this is built for podcasters. So if you create a podcast and you do it live in person, you don't edit after, you can go straight from here straight to Spotify, whatever your provider is. So it's really cool, really cool. I really dig it. Over here, if it's not recording, this is where you kind of set up your parameters. You can make this screen a full screen version of this software, or you can keep it small like I have it now. The pros of the software, this the flexibility of the software. Now it doesn't do everything, but I think it's pretty cool. It hasn't been very buggy to me. I think it may have crashed on me once, like when I first put it on, but it hasn't done anything like that since. I've been recording right now. This is 18 minutes going on straight through. Once I hit the stop record button, it's gonna continue to I'm gonna be able to listen back to it, and I can also have like markers for different parts. If I'm talking about different subjects, or if I'm interviewing somebody, I can hit the markers and just have those as easy marker points when I'm editing later on. So it's really cool, man. I mean, it's a really cool piece of software. If it wasn't for the software, the mic would just kind of be a normal mic. The mic doesn't have a lot of buttons and a lot of functionality on its own, but when you put the software with it, it's really cool. I think I'm gonna keep probably 2 of these mics for myself just to be able to use them, and I may purchase some other Rode mics that are able to be connected with this software, because I think it's a great thing just for being able to just carry it around. A lot of times when I'm traveling, the thing with my Yeti mic, it was too big, it didn't travel well. This mic is nice and small. I can throw it into a small pocket in my book bag, pack my camera, have my laptop, and when I get to where I'm going, this can be my mobile setup. Just, you know, a clip-on stand or something, and this could be a mobile setup when I go to a hotel, and I can still vlog, I can still talk, I still can do whatever. Like it's really cool, really small, really easy to travel well. So this overall is a win for me. The mic only costs $100. So anyone who's, you know, doing any kind of streaming or any kind of services like that where you're doing interviews, a lot of people are getting into that. You need to have a good quality microphone. You should not be using your microphone on your laptop. You shouldn't be playing music off to the side. You should, this enables you to play music directly so your listeners can hear what you're doing. They can hear you very clearly. High quality. You have some flexibility with the EQing and effects. So it's a win-win for me for $100, and the software is free. I think this is a major goal. So man, this is Rufus Johnson signing off. This is another great piece of gear. Leave some comments if you want to see some more videos like this. Let me know. Make sure you subscribe to I Am Rufus Johnson, guys. And without further ado, man, I'm signing off. Peace.